I finished the giveaway turbo, so I'm going to show you what it looks like. Some lucky fan, hopefully a fan, is going to win this, and it's going to be great. Check it out. That one right there is a T51R mod for the 335XI that we have over here too. So that one will be going together most likely over the weekend. Like I was saying before, this has a 65.7 millimeter compressor wheel. It's a 10 blade. The exhaust wheel is a 67 millimeter by 76. That one right there has the same exhaust wheel, but a 66.3 7-blade billet compressor wheel. I'm gonna flip this over so I can show you what this will look like. This is a T3 1.06 turbine housing, which is the largest T3 housing that you can get for these. So this is what the other side looks like. You can see how big this exhaust housing is. This is the interlocking V-band flange, so I machined one of these that fits this housing. And I'll also include the clamp. I machined it 5 thousandths smaller, so with expansion it will still fit on there without any trouble. And then the interlocking part, I machined this down 10 thousandths shorter so that it will go in there without any issues with this bottoming out here when it's not supposed to. When you go to weld this piece on the exhaust, usually it can, if you don't, like if it's not or getting too hot, it can expand and then it won't go back in here. So that's part of the reason for the difference in the tolerances. So it's dual ball bearing, completely custom build. Not something you can pick up anywhere else because I had the turbine wheels custom made. The compressor wheels, I just bought those already made, so those may be on the market. I'm not really sure. Here's a comparison of what this looks like to the S475. This I could machine out to an S480 too. S480 as well, I mean. So there's a guy that commented saying that this was not big enough. This is like an 800 to 900 horsepower turbo. This is somewhere in the 1,000 to 1,200 range. And if that's not big enough, there's this one, which comes on a Freightliner. I don't even know what that's rated at, but that one's a big one. Most people aren't trying to make over 1,000 horsepower. This is plenty enough on a street car. It's probably more than enough for most people. This one's going on the 335XI, and that is plenty enough. If he makes like 600 horsepower, he'll probably be happy with that. If to give you a comparison idea, this is a 4-inch inlet right here. This compressor wheel is probably about half an inch or maybe a full inch bigger than the inlet here. That's how big this turbo is over here. It's 116 millimeter. The shaft bore is the size of my pinky. You see how much volume we have in this turbine housing. These MMPs will be done tomorrow, finally. Some of you are probably wondering why they haven't been completed yet. Well, what happened was with this one, I think it was that one, I don't know, it was one of them, where the pin came out and the whole assembly was moving like this, back and forth. The pin kept on wearing out the hole where the pin goes into, So because the hole was worn out where the pin goes to, it wouldn't allow the cage to stay in place. So it was letting it go all the way back and forth like maybe 50 thousandths or more. It was a very noticeable difference. So what we had to do to correct that was we had to, well, Brandon used a milling machine, did a circular interpolation on the feed hole and cut it out bigger, and then we made a new pin out of a piece of steel so that we could resize it so everything's bigger now. So now the pin is a press fit, 1/1000th press fit inside of the bearing housing. It's also a press fit or a tight fit inside of the cage, so everything is back to the tolerance that it should be. To give you an idea of everything that we had to do to this, you could watch the other videos that I posted on the MMP build, but just a short summary. We had to sleeve and rebore the seal areas for the front and rear on both of them and correct that pin, and I think the compressor wheel needed to be replaced on one of them. I think it was damaged. And now we're doing the wastegate repair on them, and then after that it'll be done. So it was just a lot of machining work to do that. Parts wise, it really isn't that many parts in it. It's just the GT35R ball bearing cage and the seals. And that's about it for those. So those will go out tomorrow most likely.